For the longest time, the news industry seemed invincible. Kind of like the Titanic, right? Unsinkable. But then this digital iceberg just shows up on the horizon, and boom, everything changed. So today, we're going to dive into that story, how the internet just completely upended traditional news, and, what that actually means for all of us. And it really starts with a question that probably hits close to home for a lot of you. Like, have you ever wondered what on earth happened to your local newspaper? Or maybe you still have one, but it just feels kind of thin, right? There's not much to it anymore. This isn't just about being nostalgic. This is the key to understanding a huge, huge shift in our world. Okay, so to figure this out, we've got to go back, way back. Before the internet, the newspaper business was, well, it was a gold mine. Super stable, it was basically a license to print money. But the reason why it was so stable, it's probably not what you think. It wasn't just about people buying the paper or those big flashy ads. Nope, it was something way simpler. And here it is. This number is everything, 30%. Just let that sink in. On average, almost a third of a newspaper's money came from the classified ads. The back pages with the used cars, apartment rentals, help wanted, all that stuff. It was this enormous, reliable river of cash that just poured into newsrooms day after day. And that river of cash? It wasn't just for profits. This is so crucial. As this quote gets at, that money was the secret sauce. It was the subsidy that paid for the really expensive but super important journalism. We're talking about having a reporter covering City Hall full-time or funding a big months-long investigation. The classifieds were literally paying the bills for holding power accountable. And then the iceberg hit. Craigslist. The internet didn't just show up, it slammed right into the side of the industry. Platforms like Craigslist took that single, most profitable part of the newspaper, the classifieds, and just gave it away for free. And the big newspaper companies? They were caught completely off guard. They thought it was just some little fad, not the revolution that was about to sink them. So the way this happened has a name. It's called unbundling. Think about it like this. The digital guys, they didn't have to build a whole new ship. They just rode up, cherry-picked the most valuable treasure in the cargo hold, all those classified ads, and sailed away. And they left the newspapers stuck with the massive costs of actually, reporting the news. They got all the money with none of the responsibility. And wow, did it happen fast. I mean, shockingly fast. You can see on this timeline, the whole financial floor just collapsed. What started with Craigslist in '95 turned into a total avalanche in the 2000s. And then when the 2008 recession hit, it was pretty much a knockout punch to an industry that was already on the ropes. So yeah, the money part of the story is one thing. But the human cost, the real-world impact of all this, that's what was felt in newsrooms everywhere. This is really where the ship started going under. Just think about this number for a second, 200. That's how many counties in the US right now have no local newspaper at all. They've become what people call news deserts, whole communities with nobody professionally keeping an eye on things. And even for the papers that are still around, a lot of them have become what they call ghost newspapers. I mean, the name is still on the front page, but inside, they're totally hollowed out. They just don't have the staff or the money to really cover their own towns anymore. And of course, this leads to a brain drain. It's just basic economics. Look at this chart. It shows you the crazy pay gap between being a journalist in a big hub like New York versus, say, Pennsylvania. The industry's in crisis, the pay is terrible, and a lot of really talented reporters just can't afford to do the job anymore. So, what happens when the local news crumbles? Well, it's like they say, nature hates a vacuum, and our need for information is no different. Something else is always going to rush in and fill that empty space. And here's the trade-off we've made. On one side, you have what traditional local news used to do, give everyone a common set of facts, a place for community discussion. And on the other side, you have what's replaced it, social media, which, as we know, is way more open to misinformation and is literally designed by algorithms to divide us, not bring us together. And this chart here, it's not just about where people are looking, it's about power. It shows you just how massive this shift has been. The old town square is gone, it's moved online, and now it's the big tech platforms, not local editors, who are the gatekeepers for what billions of us see and read every day. And in this new world, lies have a superpower. It's crazy. A study from MIT found that false stories spread 6 times faster on Twitter than true ones. The whole system is basically built to make misinformation go viral. And researchers have connected all these dots. It's pretty clear. When local news disappears, it gets a lot harder for us, the voters, to know what's really going on with our own politicians. And what's the result? More political polarization. It creates a space where more extreme candidates can pop up without anyone really fact-checking them. Okay, so after the crash, after the sinking, where does that leave us? Well, right now, the news industry is scrambling for a lifeboat. Everyone's trying out different things, just trying to stay afloat in these really choppy waters. And this is pretty much what it looks like. You've got paywalls, you've got donations from readers, nonprofits, even billionaires buying up papers. It's a total grab bag of ideas. The big problem, though, is that there's no magic solution. Every single one of these models has its own set of problems, its own potential issues. You know what, this quote, which comes from a Reddit user of all people, really just hits the nail on the head. We all kind of feel like good journalism is a public good, right? Something that's essential for society to work. But we don't fund it that way. We haven't found a way to actually pay for it like we do other essential services. And that kind of leaves us with the big final question. In a world where lies are free and spread like wildfire, is real quality information, the kind that takes time and money to produce, is that something worth paying for? Honestly, how we answer that is probably going to decide the future of news.